Hello and welcome back to the Remembering Tuscola webcast. I'm David Porter. I'm here with Mike Carroll and Bill Englehart, who apparently didn't get the memo on the dress code today.
David, I thought you were kidding about dressing up.
No, I mean, what was so confusing, Mike, about saying wear a tie on the show today?
Well, you use puns all the time, so I'm thinking tie. What's he getting at? What's he getting at? Also, you shaved, and I didn't know who you were there when you came on the air.
Well, that was the second. Did you not see the second memo? It said, Mike, shave for the webcast today.
Dave, I'm telling you, you pulled so many puns on me. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. You're such a humorous punster. It's like taking Woody Allen serious. I just can't do it.
Well, maybe I forgot to send the memo.
Well, you know that. Did you get one?
No, I didn't get the memo.
Well, we didn't get the memo.
Look at me. Do I look like I've got the memo?
It didn't look like he's ripped.
But I like how Mike acted like he had gotten the memo.
Well, you said something, but
what did I say, Mike? Here's a good exercise. What did I say, Mike?
Something about tie up your beard or something. Tie up your beard, but put a tie around your beard.
This is a test to see if Mike Carroll actually listens to anything I say.
What did you? Pardon me, I wasn't listening. Becky does it all the time. Says, "You ain't listening to me." I said, "What did you say?"
David, you look very nice.
You look nice, David. It's kind of shocking, actually.
Well, I feel like I'm being strangled slowly by a weak person.
That's why I don't.
You've ruined your image as a hard ass, though. You know, Buck O'Murray. You're no longer.
I think you can be a hard ass and wear a tie.
Well, I didn't know that. We can wear a tie then next time.
Oh, next time.
Thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've still got half ties.
I have a tie somewhere. I got to shave it though, I think.
I have more than one.
Well, David, you look, and the cigar gives you a look of kind of like what would you say?
It looks like, who's the actor named
Ned Beatty.
Ned Beatty that played in this Mark Wahlberg movie where he was a senator.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a United States senator.
Thanks. Ned Beatty weighed 400 pounds.
Well, they tied him to a tree in Deliverance, I remember.
And look at this. Hey, Mike, look at this. When I do this, I get a dimple.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, man.
You look like you might have been in President Abraham's cabinet.
I can't do it. I don't get a dimple on the other side.
No, you're dimple deficient.
This side, though, I get a little dimple.
Yeah.
But I have to clench my jaw to do it.
See, Bill and I don't even notice that kind of stuff because we never look in mirrors.
So sometimes if I want to, sometimes I'll do this.
You know what I heard?
I get a little.
I heard you had chapped lips from kissing mirrors. Is that a rumor?
No, but I always wanted to work in a factory, in a mirror, inspecting mirrors. I could really see myself doing that job.
See, he says a pun and he expects us to laugh.
Yeah.
I give him a good pun.
Yeah.
I lay one on him. Well, okay.
Anything going on in the world today that before we
anything going on in the world?
Get to pictures?
I just asked my wife the font of all information.
Yeah, right.
David, we're just trying to get through the winter. And winter hadn't even started. We're trying to get through it.
Well, we got the paper came out, had a Christmas Town pictures in it, had a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah.
That's good.
I didn't see an out of the past picture. Was there an out of the past picture this week?
Yeah, there was an out of the past picture.
Two little girls. One of them looked familiar, but I didn't see who it was.
Oh, I must have missed it.
Well, we got out of the past pictures for you today, Mike.
Okay.
Hey, David, as long as you're doing a Remembering Tuscola, Mike and I are remembering a dear friend of ours, passed away Tuesday morning in St. Louis, Greg Skinner.
Well, he did.
Yeah.
We've talked about Greg a lot.
Yeah.
He's one of those larger than life guys, tough guy. You can't imagine him. Pardon? Oh, it's upstairs.
Retired St. Louis police officer.
He reminds you of Beatty. You can't imagine Greg dying. You can't imagine Johnny Beatty ever dying. There are certain guys you just can't. They're just too tough.
They're
Too tough.
I called John Beatty, and John felt like we did. It's hard to imagine someone
Larger than life.
larger than life at times. Yeah. Wonderful athlete here at Tuscola, and then a wonderful athlete in college too.
He was the Parade Magazine National Police Officer of the Year.
One of the top 10.
One of the top 10. And what a lot of people don't know about Greg, those that know him, he's a cop. He was undercover drugs. He was an all-conference football player at Northeast Missouri State, wasn't it, Truman?
Mm-hmm.
And he was my catcher when I pitched American League baseball and EI League ball. He was my catcher. Just a tough kid. But he majored in English, of all things.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a very sensitive guy. When my sister died, he sent me about a 2-page letter, and he sent Becky a letter when her mom died. He's not many guys. I've never sent anybody a letter.
He wrote to many people. He was the first one in the class in 1966 to receive a master's degree.
Funny guy.
Yeah.
Like most of us, kind of a complicated, you can't pigeonhole him.
No. So I put on all my Tuscola wear today for kind of remember him as we're doing this show.
Yeah.
He enjoyed anything with Tuscola and always said it was the best place to grow up.
Yeah.
And
he almost came back and ran for sheriff one time.
Yep. That would have been something.
Almost came back and ran for sheriff.
That would have been something.
You know,
he won the Medal of Valor in St. Louis too.
The most amazing thing is that he died before you and I.
That
you were supposed to be.
Yeah, don't take a bet on that.
You were supposed to be dead in your 20s, and I was supposed to be dead in my 40s. And Greg's granddad lived to be
99.
99. Would have been 100 if he.
His granddad, David, was Gus Flesser.
Thanks, sweetie.
So we just wanted to say a little word about Greg, someone that was very much from about 1948 to about 1966. He
reminds you of Gus.
In the community. Yes.
Gus had so many good qualities, but also they were hard-headed Creeks.
You might say that.
Didn't win many arguments with Gus or Greg. Not like you and I, very open-minded, flexible.
Flexible.
But Greg was going downhill suffering. Bill went down to see him about a week or two ago.
Early November, I saw him.
Yeah. Like time's flying.
Time is flying.
And
it was, yeah.
I think we lost a lot of classmates. I think my class has lost 25% of the class.
We've lost classes. So this is another good reason to keep doing the show. We have fun and look forward to it on Thursdays with you, David.
Yeah.
But send out our thoughts, family, to his son and daughter, and certainly thinking of him. I'm sure many people will find it a shock that he passed away.
Yeah.
But he had been ill for quite a while, too.
Yeah. He'd gone through open heart surgery, major back surgery, all kinds of things. It almost makes you start the surgery regimen.
I don't want to, but I've done 2 of them already.
I've done 4.
All right. Well, we've got some fun pictures for you today.
Well, good. Well, this one's dedicated to Greg, to Gus. Yep, that was his nickname, wasn't it?
Gus. Yeah, that was his middle name.
I know we got a couple Flessers in our pictures.
Oh, you can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
They're part of Tuscola.
He does look nice, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does look nice. That looks like Bartley on the left.
That's Teresa Maddox on the right.
Is that Bartley? When she missed Tuscola?
Yeah,
what was her
I think
first
so.
name?
Well, I can't remember.
Was that Janet Bartley's daughter? Bartley, I think is her name. And Maddox.
Teresa. Quinn. Teresa Quinn now.
Right.
Was the other one, was the other one Bartley?
Well, I didn't have a name on the other one, so I'm taking your word for it.
She was, Miss Tuscola, real nice, really nice gal.
Boy, good old days
That's it.
uptown.
That's when Ben Franklin came to town and everybody came out to meet him. Old fashioned days. Yeah, we put the red carpet out for Ben when he came out. It was a big deal when Ben came to town. That's old fashioned days. We used to celebrate in the 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just showing, and that's where, is that where Joe's is now? Joe's Pizza?
That's Joe's
That's it.
Pizza. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think someone said here in the background, I think it's this one, is Dick Parker.
That looks like Dick. He's got his glass on. He had a store right across the street.
Is that Earl the Pearl?
Which one?
Right here.
I don't know. Oh, that looks like Earl Pendergrass. Not the, that's Earl Van Steenhouse. Back up a little bit.
Oh,
The guy that looks like he's a faro dealer
and was.
and was a faro dealer was Earl Van Steenhouse, the president of owner and president of the First National Bank, and that it's not Sherman wore a hat, did he?
It looks like him, doesn't it?
Sherman Marsh.
Boy, it looks like Sherman.
I never saw him with a hat.
Yeah. Me neither.
Yeah, that's a real 70s picture. And that's that was our first grade detention center.
Who is this little boy?
I think the boy on the outside is Lee
Grimm.
Grimm.
Lee Grimm.
I think you're right. Boy, he sure looked familiar. That's Lee Grimm. I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Oh, Lee worked at the school for me in the East Prairie building. I always liked Lee. Good hitter.
Now, this was a program that Mike instituted,
Yeah,
public
you know,
shaming by putting the jail cell downtown in the
Well-
middle of the square.
I want to tell you something. Those two girls never committed another crime while I was state's attorney.
One girl.
They
looks
were-
like Patty.
They were scared straight. Is
Scared
what I
straight.
call the program, Scared Straight.
I have a feeling this was some kind of fundraiser where you could pay to get somebody locked up or
Yeah. You know, they locked me up and nobody ever paid to get me out. That's
huh.
okay. There you go, Bill.
Oh, man. Time out.
Got to blow that up a little bit. Woo, too small. Can you make it just a little bigger? Down front. Well, that looks like,
Jeez.
well, is that number 10, Devin Flesser?
Yeah, I think you're right.
It looks like Devin.
So we're talking, what year we talking?
Probably 77, maybe.
Yeah, that's when I was in Arcola.
That's not Tim.
No, I don't think
So
so.
this over here on the right, the coach was my grade school PE teacher. That's Miss Stevens.
Oh, that's Stevenson.
And there's Weber.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Second row down the right is Judy Weber.
yeah.
And there's Reinhardt. Second one in from the bottom, I think is
Pam?
Pam Reinhardt,
I can't tell.
I think.
This, in the second row, all the way on the far left, that looks like my sister, but I can't really tell. It looks a lot like my sister Roberta. I thought maybe she'd confirm on Facebook.
Well, we need her help.
Let me see if I can.
Gee, Manny. Yeah, that's when I was at Arcola. Must have missed something.
Let's see.
Is that track and basketball?
I don't know. Lori Gangloff Williams thought she was above number 20, but then Judy Weber Jones said that looked like Kathleen Kleiss, and then Lori said you might be right, and
That does, I see who you're talking about. That does look like Lori Gangloff.
Jill Holden's in the picture, Kathy Dukeman, I need to remind people when they put names on here, tell us where they are so we can.
Yeah, listen to how Bill and I do it. Second row, third one in from the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes you can't really tell who they're talking about. So
A lot of people, yeah, a lot of people there. Couple Hall of Famers there. Weber girl, the Hall of Fame, and so's Devin.
Holden isn't Holden.
Jill, is it Jill in there
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, isn't Joe Holden in the Hall of Fame?
Well, there's three of them there. Okay. A lot of beauty there. A little overwhelming. Well, that looks like the
Looks like a
Tuscola
Romine.
state track meet. Hmm.
Yeah, it says Craig Romine.
Yeah.
That's Craig, who was on the school board for years, and I think he threw the discus.
And Bill Weber in the background, it says.
With the afro. Oh, here he is between the
Yeah.
legs.
Which coach is
Well,
that?
it looks
Joe?
like Bob Trimble, but it's not.
It does look like Bob Trimble.
Yeah.
But Roma, you know what? It could be. It could be Bob Trimble.
Really?
Because one, he taught the discus.
Well, what year would this have been?
Well, Romine graduated, I believe in 71 or 70.
And Trimble was here.
Trimble was here
He
for
student
about
taught-
5 years.
He student taught 65, and then he came here in 66 with Murray. He was here about 5 years, you think?
5 or 6.
Could be.
Lived over there by Bucko and that little, you remember?
Looks like Bob Trimble in the back.
Football field.
Yeah.
Trimble always wore those sunglasses.
Is that that's not a state meet though? Look at,
No, it's not a state meet.
must be a regional or something. That's that press box. Okay, on the right is Kenny Burke, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's Craig Virgin
Craig Virgin from Lebanon.
from Lebanon, the great runner for Illinois.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, Burke and Virgin, those guys were
Kenny went on the run.
Great runners.
Ran at Eastern. I think he might have been All American there. I think he placed in the nationals at Eastern's level of whatever they were. Were they Division II back then?
well, maybe
Craig Virgin was a little trivia. I used to own the Lebanon Advertiser newspaper, and Craig was a subscriber, and he and I ended up sharing office space. The first time I met him was the only marathon race I was ever in was in Steelville, Illinois, and he was there to kick it off. Craig, if you don't know who Craig Virgin is, he's not just probably the greatest runner Illinois has ever had. He's one of the greatest runners the world has ever had. He still holds a lot of records. Still holds the Arcola Broomcorn Festival record for their 10K.
Yeah.
That was the very first one. He came up and ran in the very 1st one.
Yeah, and was a Olympian on the year that the U.S. boycotted the Olympics.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
That was the year I would have probably won a medal had they not boycotted.
yeah. Well, Craig Virgin probably would have won the gold medal that year.
Yeah.
Let's see. Scott Brewer says Craig Virgin won multiple state championships, Big Ten championship, NCAA championships, world cross country championships. And was a 1980 U.S. Olympian. Kenny was also an NCAA champion and the greatest distance runner Tuscola ever produced. He held the 2-mile record for almost 50 years. TCHS runners are just now beating the times he set in 71 and 72. The Danville guy is Barney Hance or Jerry George. He says, Kenny dominated the local meets back in the day. Craig just beat everybody in the state, the country, and later the world. I had a great view of these guys' backsides as they pulled away and left the rest of us laboring to keep up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great picture.
Yeah. So,
Bill, were you a long distance runner?
And I preferred in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're a middle distance runner then?
Yeah, I kind of like those middle distances.
Yeah.
yeah, Craig came back to the Broomcorn Festival, not this last year, the year before. So I sent him this picture. I've got his email address, so I sent this to him.
I remember Kenny Burke's parents well.
Yeah, what was his dad?
Bill.
Ran the Tasty Freeze or?
Yeah, Bill Burke.
Bill Burke.
Bill and Gretchen.
Developed part of Parkview, I think, out there where you live. Okay, now we're
getting to go.
On the left is Greg Hastings. On the
Yeah.
right is Doug Dietrich. Second one up the right is an Owen. Is that Randy? Or
It looks like an Owen.
and the one next to Greg, I'm not sure.
Rick Esquerdo.
Is that Nate the Skate?
No, Rick.
Oh, the second one.
Brother.
Yeah, it's
Nate's brother, Rick.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably the mile relay team right there, I'm guessing.
I don't know why the baton says Reds. Must have been wherever they were
Yeah.
running.
Looks like Bob Hastings after a long day.
I think
That's Greg. Yeah.
it's great.
That's Greg taking a nap at the track meet.
Yeah.
As
That
you
was
can see, he's wearing the same hat as he is in this
he
picture.
ran the 2 mile, and that's him after the first mile. He took a break. He came in last, by the way.
This is Greg after doing anything.
Yeah.
There you go.
Greg has the ability to relax.
Hall of Famer.
Okay, on the right, looks like a Henby. Is that
That's Gary Henby.
Gary Henby?
Well, you got Gary, you got Ben, Barry, and Gary.
Gary's younger. Gary's the old.
And
This says
Carla Ford.
Carla, well, I think it may be Carla Ford and who's the tall guy? Oakley?
Possibly.
What do you got?
Do you have anything?
well, according to I don't know how to pronounce her first name. Marlena Schaefer, Connie Miller, Carlson, Brent Oakes. She says it's Barry Henby.
Les Barry, not
and
Gary.
Carla Ford.
Carla Ford, we got Carla. Who was the king then? Brent Oakes.
Brent Oakes.
Brent
Brent
Oakes.
Oakes.
I'll be darned.
Tall. Oakses are tall.
Oakses are like oak trees.
Oak trees.
That's why they're called oaks. That's Barry.
That's
Well, this has got to be about what, 74, 5, 3?
well, let's see. She says
2, somewhere in the early 70s.
sometime between 1971 and
This is in the 20th century.
well, I couldn't find it because
I think Barry was a couple. I think Gary was probably classed as.
this
When
says,
did
They were in the almost in the, were they in the? No, I'm not.
this
even
says
know.
class of 73.
Yeah,
There you go.
I said that, didn't I? That was one of the 12 years I
I
missed.
thought so.
I think Gary was probably 72. Gary
So
and
Tammy
Barry.
Reynolds says she was so excited she told her mom that Brent Oakes was homecoming king. Her mom said, well, who's that? And she said, I rolled my eyes at her as if to say, you should know this. And then I said, it's Grunt and Wart's brother.
Yeah, that's close enough.
So I don't know who Grunt and Wart are, but apparently if
Well,
Well, those are
Oakes brothers.
those are biblical birth names
Yeah.
taken out of the book of Revelations.
those sound like good nicknames, huh?
They are good nicknames. right there with Cobb and Shuckins and Nevins. Well, on the,
This is Kathy Hedinger, second from the right. Geez, I looked at the first girl on the far left and I know her and I can't say it. That's not Cindy Ring, is it?
well, I started to say Cindy Ring. I thought it might be Cindy Morrow.
Well, according to the our sleuth on the Facebook, Cindy Morrow, Jane
Yep.
Swihart, Sylvia Wellborn, Kathy Moody, Kathy Hedinger, and Pam Kleiss.
That's
Yeah.
Kathy Chaplin. The tallest one is Kathy Moody.
Man,
which-
she's hot looking. And you know why I said she's hot looking?
Why
Dave?
is that?
Because she was on here before, and I told her, Bill and I recognized her, and she said, "Did you say I was hot looking?"
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
So Kathy, I've said it. You're hot looking. That
Well,
is
Daryl Rich said they're all foxes.
well, hot looking.
Daryl Rich would say that.
Yeah, Daryl was a fox hunter. Well, that's the second to the left is
Sini.
Sini.
And then the one in the middle, the tall one in the middle is that Barb Sargent?
Yeah, that's your favorite guy's daughter.
Let me know when you're done guessing.
That a Kalmar, second one in. Second
It
one
might be a Kalmar, second from left.
on the front row.
This one here on the far right, God, I know her.
Yeah.
She hasn't changed that much. Go ahead.
According to Tom Brady, top row, Kathy Thomas, Gail Sini, Barb Sargent, Susie Byers, Brenda Rogers. Bottom row, Jerry Shook, Karen Kalmar, Kathy Jacobs, Maureen Apgar, and Cheryl Page.
Carol Page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got four of them.
So
Yeah. Jerry Shook.
John Stonecipher's wife.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is about 73 too, I think.
that's, I can't think of it.
well, the names I have here are Connie Miller Carlson and Randy Todd.
Randy Todd lived across the street from us.
Just to the
That
south.
little house just to the south.
Yeah.
His sister Linda was in my class. I knew that face, but I haven't seen or thought about him for years.
What's that, a Camaro with a right?
Must be.
Okay, there's Cheryl Page on the left, I think. On the right, didn't we identify him as a Todd?
And Owen.
I know what I mean.
Danny Matthews says it's Steve Owen and Kathy Moody Chaplin.
That's Kathy.
Well, her hair got dark.
I'll tell you what, she looks hot.
She looks hot. Yeah.
It's on fire.
Who's driving the car? He looks familiar.
Well, you should know.
I should.
When I tell you, you'll say, "Oh, I knew it."
Give us a tip.
Mike Meyer.
Mike
No.
Meyer. You got it.
Good. I just talked to him the other day at the parade, but I forgot what that look was when they were younger.
Mike was one of my bitty basketball coaches when I was little.
He never lets you score though.
But he's the old, well, he'd let me score. I just didn't know how.
Oh, well, no
He's
how,
old.
what chance?
He's also an older brother to one of my favorite people, Danny Meyer.
Phil?
Yeah.
Philip?
You know, I asked him the other day, I said, "Why does Mike Carroll keep calling you Phil?" And he said, "Because when he went to work for Dan Ponder, it was too confusing having two Dans. And so you started calling him Phil, which is his middle name,
Yeah.
also his son's name."
Jim Hilligoss was the first one to call him Phil when he worked for Dean Hilligoss, Dean Farm with Dan. And he called him Phil. I said, "What are you going to call him Phil?" He says, "There's too many Dans out there." So I learned that was his middle name. So I call him Phil.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody else in the world except Jimmy and I called him Phil.
Yeah.
great guy. But Kathy looks hot. Tuscola High School band. Oh, that's
They've
back.
got a flag corps.
Look at the band.
Look at the band.
Whoa, this is back in the golden era. Look at the people that showed
We
up.
had
For the,
people that showed up.
I can't quite see this person here.
I can't identify any of those.
That's the old Lee Williamson house back there.
That's it.
That's where P.J. Williamson lived back there.
Had that barn back there. Remember?
Had a Quonset hut,
Yeah.
metal. And then his son, Lee, was class of 64. Played a lot of round robin baseball with Lee out at the park when we were young kids. That looks like Brent Oaks.
Yeah. I thought you might get that one.
He got it.
You get the gal.
I'm sorry. I don't
Barb
get the
Lindsay,
Oh, Barb Lindsay. You should know that one.
class of 73.
You know what's, the face now looks like Barb, but the hair doesn't.
Now that you mention it, that looks like Barb Lindsay.
73, I'd already been married 3 years. Audrey wouldn't let me look at girls.
When did she start letting you do it again? Okay, here we go.
Yesterday.
You should know all these kids. You had them in
No,
principal.
I can't.
I recognize one of them, but
I've got one. I've got one down on the front right with the letter jacket on. That's Dave Henderson, it looks like.
I think these guys are older than Dave Henderson.
Well, it looks like Dave Henderson.
That Kent Ragsdale.
No.
According to Susan Bechtel Hall, that's Eric Foster.
With the T on?
She
Really?
says
That's
front row,
Eric?
far right.
I'll be darned.
Who else do you have in there?
Well, that's Chunk Campbell on the left on the bottom.
Chunkaroo?
Oh, you know what this is? Punt, pass, and kick.
Punt, pass, and kick.
Yeah.
And Tammy Reynolds said she thinks
That's Steve Mick up there?
that's Joey Peach on the top far right.
Huh.
It looks like a peach to me.
Well,
We went through the live nativity the other night, and Greg Campbell had cooked pork chop on a stick and ribeye sandwiches.
yeah, that's a nativity kind of tradition.
You should know the front center
Mary
too.
Joseph had pork chop on a stick in the manger. What?
You should know this one in the front center too.
Well, we should.
I thought it was Kent Ragsdale. I was wrong on that one, probably.
According to Steve Laley, is Bob Laley.
Barbarino. Well, Steve would know his brother.
So then Bob and Susan Laley, they said Foster, Redden, Peach, and Murray. So I think
Murray.
yeah, I think this one on the middle left is a Murray.
Oh, with the hat on.
That Mark.
Hat on.
Looks like Mark above him,
It's
too.
Mark.
That could be Mark up above him. Which one's
Mm,
more Mark?
this is Mark, right there. In the middle.
I'm pretty sure it's not Gene.
No, it's not Gene.
And I don't know which one's Redden.
Wes Redden.
No, I don't know. There are a lot of Reddens. Steve Hawkins says, I think that's Nathan Hilgendorf, dead center, middle row center. And Mark
Who?
next to him.
Hmm.
And Kelly Parker Vermouth says one of them is Kevin Matthias. Okay, here Phil Kennedy has the names. Steve Hawkins, Greg Campbell, Bob Laley, Eric Foster, Mark Murray, Nathan Hilgendorf, Steve Laley, Stan Redden, Kevin Matthias, and Joey Peach.
Well, that's who we thought.
Stan
Yeah.
Redden's the tall one in the middle. I knew that.
We had most all of them then, David,
Yep, we did.
except for 9 of them.
Well, I recognized Chunk right away, but the others, I can see it after I've heard the name. You know, you can look at it. and say,
Well,
"Oh, that's right."
yeah.
After you tell me the names, I know who they are.
Yeah, we like it when they put the sign on the car.
Yeah,
That helps us.
that was Brent Oaks. Oh, boy.
Now, I recognize one of these right away too.
Well, that's math somebody.
Yeah, that's probably
That's
Anything else.
is that Hank Groves back left?
you
back
know,
row.
I think you're right. I think that is Hank Groves. That's not the one I recognized first, but I think you're right. That's Hank
Oh,
Groves.
I'm still looking here. I'm still looking.
Middle row, far left. You got to know who that is. Looks just like his dad.
Oh,
What was his dad's name?
give us the initial of his first name.
M.
Mike Bergner.
Mike Bergner.
There you go.
Is that Matt Van Steenhouse there, Matt? 80?
I don't.
80 is Van Steenhouse, I think. You're right. But
Okay.
that is Hank Groves in the back, I believe. Oh, you know what? In the middle, at the top, is that Kenny Swingle?
That was one of the names people guessed.
Yeah, with the stocking hat on. Kenny Swingle became superintendent.
Shelbyville.
Shelbyville, Arthur. He taught school here, coached here. Tremendous athlete at Villa Grove.
And Bob Lilly, it says Dick Laley is one of them. Brad Schultz says Mark O'Brien front center, and then he's right behind him, Brad Schultz, and Dick Laley upper right.
Isn't this your class, David? Isn't Mike Bergner your class?
Bergner's in my class,
83.
but the rest of these are not. Hank was a year older. Married one of my classmates. Of course, Hank's been gone a while.
Yeah. Married to Denise French.
Yep. So these are close to my age, but the only one in my class here is Bergner.
Well, Eric Racine back in the days of sideburns and flat tops.
Roy Snyder's with him.
You know, that was when Larry was doing his impression of Roy Orbison. He sang Crying that night, and everybody in the audience cried once he was done.
That was the best one.
Who's the guy? Earl.
Roy Snyder.
Roy Snyder, and there's Earl the Pearl Pendergrass. Pendergrass, and doing his shoes is
Osnell or whatever.
oh, he used to run the CIPS.
Yeah, he was Burris's buddy.
Gene
Versus-
Cornell.
Gene Cornell.
Gene Cornell. Gosnell, same thing.
Same.
Cornell.
Well, you had three of the letters.
Yeah.
You had what's called the alphabet in there.
Yeah.
Earl the Pearl. Okay, this is the big picture. Oh boy. You get in trouble if you misname young girls.
I'm
Wow.
looking.
These are Girl Scouts.
That's what we got right.
Either that or Medal of Honor winners.
Well,
Wow.
let's see. Marcy Shoemaker is tagged Jenny Shoemaker Godsell. Kelly Schultz Whittington says, I recognize the girls on the front row, but she
Okay.
doesn't say who they are.
Oh, well, Bill.
Oh, well, yeah.
Bill and I recognize all the girls.
We recognize them all.
Angie DeMist says, I think Vina Denton is last on the right in the back row, and that is Mrs. Wilson on the right.
That's what I thought that was Vina Denton.
Diane
you?
Stewart
Yeah.
says Marty Stewart Quinones is how you pronounce it, is the girl,
Well, that's how I would.
third girl standing from the right.
Yeah. Well, that was my guess.
That'd be Diane and Tom's daughter.
Mhm.
Mrs. Wilson would have been Eddie's wife.
Eddie's wife, Eddie Wilson's wife. Passed away before Eddie, and then Eddie just died this year.
Mhm.
We don't have any plumbers, electricians left in Tuscola.
Okay, we're ready.
Oh, their son was in my class.
John,
John,
or the other one,
Yep, no, the other one, Jeff.
Jeff. I married my cousin's daughter,
yeah, married Patty.
Patty Carroll. Okay, we got these girls. We know all of them.
We recognize.
We don't want to give their names out, but
I recognize one in this picture, but I've got names for the others.
We've got a Hans in the picture
That's the one I recognize because she
Yeah.
looks so much like her mother.
right there.
fifth one back is
Doesn't she look so much
Don
like her
Linda, it
mom?
looks like Linda, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like, thank God she doesn't look like Dawn.
Yeah. Are you ready for names?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Becky Swinford says Julie Jacobs Doherty, Marianne Brown, Carla Cook, Martha Falke Rhodes, Chris Hance, Lori Payton Nichols, and Terry Dixon. And Angie Demet says Mrs. Jacobs or Mrs. Wilson question mark. Let's see. Let me see if I got some
well,
other comments.
that's pretty much who we had.
Yeah.
They're doing good out there.
Oh, we're doing well.
We had all except 3 there.
Well, I only had one.
Yeah, you're giving us some toughies here.
I recognize one in this picture too.
Well, you're doing good.
Well,
I
the
should
one, on
recognize
the, lower,
more.
the one on the lower left is our exchange student. And is the one in the back balancing a cup on her head? What is that back there?
She doesn't look like she's balancing a cup on her head, doesn't she?
I think she is.
Okay, we only had one name, and it's the one that I recognize. And that is front row, third
Gwen
from the left.
Boyd.
Huh?
Gwen Boyd.
Gwen Boyd.
Well, this one here we should know right here. Right in the middle.
Gwen Boyd, what a sweet little girl.
Died way too young.
Way, way too young. She fought it hard.
I recognize a few more in this one.
That D. Lindsay on the right.
That is D. Lindsay on the right.
Let me look here.
Our daughter ought to be in there.
Yeah,
One of
somewhere.
our daughters. But I don't see him.
I don't see Brittany.
Well, Brittany would be younger than this group.
Well, I don't see Bo in there. You see Bo?
Well, Bo wanted to join the Girl Scouts.
Joe did want to.
Yeah.
He did.
Oh, probably wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, well, he still wanted to join him.
Yeah. Sorry, can't do it. Don't
Okay.
know those.
Okay, this tall girl in the back is Cheryl Gobble.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gobble or gobble?
Go.
Gobble. The girl next to D is Kim Kidwell Miller.
I'll be darned. I
The
was gonna
girl
say
on the
that.
front row far left is Hank's wife, widow.
Denise Branch.
And then this blonde girl in the middle is Theresia Moran.
Oh, yeah.
Douglas.
That's Shorty.
Shorty's grandson.
Shorty Moran's
Or
brother.
it's, what was that boy's name?
And the she married was it Richard that she married? Douglas? The girl in the middle, the girl in the middle, they say is Rose Jackson. It didn't look like Rose to me. Looked a lot like Amy Ellington to me, and Amy thought it looked like her too, except I think Amy's hair was blonder. And according to my wife and some others, that's Rose Jackson. So a lot of these were in my class. 2 of them have passed. I should recognize the others. Let me see if I've got any other names here. But Cheryl, Kim, Theresia, and Cheryl. Did I say Cheryl? Cheryl, Denise, Theresia, and Kim are all in my class.
Now, Theresia died very young, didn't she?
Yeah, she had lupus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Eunice Gensler says that is Terry Gensler in the front row. Doesn't say which one.
Oh, second one in.
Second one in.
Second left next to
Yeah.
next to Groves or Branch. Yeah, it looks like her. Which is good since that's who it is.
That's who it is.
I guess a mother would know her daughter.
Should.
Lena Hill says that's Rose in the back.
Except you didn't know your own son one time.
That's true.
And one of them is Edwina Long. I don't remember her.
No, I don't know.
Kelly Parker says Terry, Darla, Edwina, Carol Kellogg, Kim Kidwell, Shelley. I don't know if that's it's on the tip of my tongue. On Shelley. Let's see.
Well, we only got 5 of them there. We didn't get them all.
Well, I'm looking, there's a ton of comments on this one.
Well, we had several comments ourselves.
Yeah, we had a ton.
Yeah.
So Carol Kellogg says Denise Branch, Terry Gensler, Theranese Moran, Darla Dick, Shelley Carter, Mrs. Kibler, Edwina, Cheryl Gobble, Rose Jackson, herself, and Kim Kidwell and Dee Wilson. So I think that front right is Shelley Carter.
So that's Rich Carter's daughter. He worked at country companies.
Well, Farm Bureau.
He was the manager.
Farm Bureau Country Company is the same building.
Mhm.
So a lot of these are all close to my age. I got a lot of comments on this one. This one apparently is not in Tuscola.
That's the Dutch Hutch in Arcola or something like that.
That's what they're saying. Tuscola had a Dutch hutch
Yeah,
that looked a lot like this.
yeah. That's when Arcola only had one building.
That's the entire town right there. They had about 12 people and they all lived inside that building. It's amazing how good their football was.
Oh.
You know, it was only 12 people in one building and they still won all these games. Oh, now.
Oh my goodness, look at this table. You know what this is? That's a Grimm family.
That is the whole Grimm. He was inducted into the Rotary. I think this is maybe
A Harris thing.
Harris.
No, this is when he retired from DeKalb.
Oh, this is DeKalb retirement.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, the table is Lee Grimm sitting over here to the right.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's Lely. He was in my class, and he's another one that's passed.
Over to the left, third one in is
this is Jim.
Jim Grimm at the left, and then next to him is Barb and Rick Grimm, Barb Weber from my class, Chuck
Yeah.
Grimm.
Class of 67.
Yeah. And his wife. And that's,
I'm not for sure.
it's a Grimm.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of Grimms.
They're all Grimms.
Is this, let's get back to Jim. Let's see, who's this one here? Slide to the right a little bit.
This must be Lisa on the right-hand side of Delbert, because she was the last one, I believe.
Delbert was the manager of DeKalb for
A
a long time, maybe 40 years almost. My dad worked for him for probably 15 years and was liked him a lot. I mean,
I worked
a
for
lot of people don't like their boss, but Dad really liked
I
Delbert
like
Grimm.
Delbert too.
And Bill worked out there.
Yeah.
All the guys at DeKalb, and there were a couple. Who was the gal in the office? What was her name? Lived out there.
Ruthie McMorris and Wanda.
Yeah, Ruthie lived right where Roy Hopkins lives there on Newkirk Street.
You're right.
Ruthie was a sweetheart. They had my favorite part of DeKalb was
Wanda Rhodes. So
Wanda-
not Wanda. Wanda's the daughter that married a Krause from Villa Grove.
in the office was a soda machine that was full of knee-high grape, orange,
Oh, man.
strawberry.
Wow.
Remember that? For a nickel.
That'd been worth going to work there.
Delbert had two, they always said Delbert had 2 families. First wife, I think, died and then got married. And they always talk about the 2 families they had.
Yeah.
It was a family, and Patty should be in there. My classmate should be in there. Where's
Well,
Patty?
is this Patty with this sweater on here? I can't.
With the
tell.
glasses?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like Patty, but it could be back. This was
a long time ago.
yeah. Patty was my class, just a real sweet girl. All the Grimm
Oh,
kids
yeah.
were great
Great
kids.
kids.
That looked back. There's Betty Carlson on the left, I think.
Yeah.
Betty Carlson and,
Meyer, Mary Bud Meyer.
Mary Bud Meyer lived down by Chris Hill's house.
The other
This-
two look familiar to me, but I can't tell you.
Phyllis Burris, but
That's not.
yeah, she's no.
This is whoever was working there at this time. Mary Bud was secretary at Decal when Dover
These
retired.
are decal people.
Yeah.
That's why Carlson, Ray was a decal guy.
He was an assistant manager.
Don't know who the other two on the right are.
This is a rainbow group.
Yeah. You have to blow it up for us a little bit.
I don't have any names on this one.
Blow it up a
I
little
think
bit.
there's a reason.
This is the rainbow group from Hugo.
Here you go. Yeah.
Wait a minute, is that? No, it's not. It's not.
Okay, upper right is Linda Hausman.
Hausman, yeah.
Janet Brody's second one in from the left. Upper left is Runyon,
Wendy.
Wendy
No,
Runyon.
well, is it Wendy
No,
or
the
the older one?
Janet Brody, not sure. Linda Hausman.
Second from the left in the front row is Jill Ragsdale. Maybe not,
No, it's Jill.
isn't?
Yeah. We should know the blonde on the left. Well, who's the other Runyon? There's Wendy Runyon and
Oh, well, I'm pulling my hair out thinking about it.
it's not Wayne.
Vicky.
Vicky Runyon. This is probably class of 69, 68. This is your
That must
wife's
be,
class.
is it a Nashville on the front left?
Lanita? No, I don't think so.
Tom
Goodness.
McGuire says front row, Ann McDaniel, Jill
Ann McDaniel.
Ragsdale,
Oh,
Terry Sodero, Sandy Hirsch, back row, Ann Bundy, Connie Schroet, Jan Rice, and Linda House.
Well, I don't think that's,
That's not Connie's.
Well,
Is
could
it
be.
Connie? Could be.
you know what? She looks like Jan Bright. Could be kind of true.
Terry Sodero was a pretty girl. She married Tom McCumber.
You know, that is Jan there. This would have been the class of 69.
Now, Ann McDaniel became a principal.
68 or 9.
Ann McDaniel was a principal at Taylorville.
I think so. Her brothers were Tom,
And
my class, and John. John worked at Caterpillar, still got the farm. And Tom was a top executive for Cat,
Mm-hmm.
helped set up a plant in Ireland. He was a big deal. Oh, this is a blast from the past.
Man, that's a 40s picture, maybe. Who knows? Oh, Lord, that's a good picture. But who are these
Here's
people?
a good picture, and I put this in here because I thought it was a neat picture. And
Got any initials for us? Maybe the initials?
Hmm.
well, let me see.
Looks like a Williams up there.
The name on the package said Raymond Waters.
Well, this could be Arcola.
Nope, you know the one on the far right.
You
Well,
gotta
we
slide
can't
over-
see the far
slide-
right.
Slide over a little bit.
I do?
That's
The
Toppy
guy-
Moody.
Huh?
It's Toppy Moody.
Oh, the little girl?
Yeah,
That's Toppy.
I'll be darned.
Wow.
and this is her family.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorry.
Isn't that something?
Sorry, Toppy.
She said the girl on the left is her sister Mary. She doesn't name all of them, but she said her brother Jim was being sent overseas, so that's why this picture was taken.
Yeah. Toppy's probably what, class of 56,
55?
55, 6 or 7? With Jim
I don't want to age her. You-
Jim Hausman, yeah, she was in Jim Hausman's class with
It'd be about
Carol.
55, somewhere in there in the middle.
yeah, 55.
So she would have
67.
been, this is the early
So she
40s, maybe
10
1944.
years earlier, so this been 45, 46.
Yeah, the envelope says 1945.
Hmm.
Cool picture.
Great. That is a great picture. Weren't the cameras better back then, David? A bigger
Well, they
format?
were. I mean, the negative. I mean, this is the negative.
Holy cow. Talk about a large format camera.
It's a 5x7 negative.
Wow.
Wow. No, those are fantastic photos.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. You know, the bigger the negative,
Yeah.
the
More
less,
pixels.
right,
Yeah.
less compression there is. This one's a little
Okay.
blurry, but we
There's
have
John-
names on them.
There's Bill's. Oh, we got all these guys.
I just talked to my brother-in-law. He was at the house. He's in the back row with a white, appears to be a white shirt.
Back row on the upper right is
Gary Foltz,
Gary Foltz.
grandfather of our Foltz, the cross-country runner.
Gary was my next door neighbor growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the right of John Surma looks like Ringo to me.
Ringo's to the left over here. That's right.
Yeah, no, well, this is to the left. You're right.
Who's that to the right? Cox,
I don't know if it's Jim Cox or not.
John Surma, Larry Ring.
I don't recognize them. And this is an Eaton. This is Dennis Ryan,
Dennis Ryan, Greg, not Greg Eaton.
not Greg.
The other one.
The other Eaton,
There's Dennis Chaplin.
Dennis Chaplin.
Front row, second from right is our sheriff right now. Dennis Chaplin.
That's his dad.
That's
That's the sheriff's dad. Yeah.
sheriff's dad.
Right.
Excuse me.
Okay,
And-
Tom McGuire says front row, Dennis Ryan, Randy Eaton, Mark Owen, Dennis Chaplin, Greg Ogden. Back row, Greg Lindsay, Paul Tingley, Larry Ring, John Surma, Jim Cox, and Gary Foltz.
Yeah, that was Jim Cox. So which
That's
Tingley,
the-
which Tingley do you have back there? Lyle?
Paul, it says.
Paul. Paul was the youngest. Paul, Lyle, and Alex was the oldest.
Termite Lindsay.
Termite Lindsay looks tall there. He used to be.
Yeah, they called him Termite for a reason.
Yeah, these were. Dennis Chaplin was a heck of an athlete. Passed away too young. Great football player, baseball. Played basketball guard, left-handed
A
guard.
good ball player,
Yeah.
good baseball pitcher.
Sherman was there's Dick Lake in the back standing up. Yeah. Sitting
That's
down.
Dwayne Bruce.
Dwayne Bruce, who I lived next to me on Van Allen, Niles and Van Allen. Dwayne and lived right next door in the house that the gardener lives in now. I can't quite see up
Was
close.
this when the foreclosure took place and all they got was a TV in the tent?
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. As the Okies came to town.
Rudy Huber says Mr. Bruce, Frank Mitchner, and his wife, Tony Bruce, and Dick Lake.
Dick Lake, yeah.
Seems like we've had this one before.
Well, if we did, I forgot it. There's a 57 Ford station wagon. I don't know. It's not around. The taillights aren't around. The fin looks like a 57 Ford.
Got the fins.
I don't have any names. I thought interesting. The tent is on top of the car.
Yeah, that's really a great way to travel.
Yeah.
The one boy's got his Indian headdress on here.
Politically incorrect.
Very.
These kids can't be more than what, 4 or 5 years old,
Probably.
playing on
Looks
top of the
like it.
roof.
Well, that's, back in those days,
Yep.
someone would have turned them in today.
That's the courthouse. And
You've seen that view.
I looked out on that view for over 7 years. And that is Voiles, Rodney Voiles.
You're right.
But
This must be senior.
back row. Third one in is Rodney Voiles from the right. Yeah, you're almost on him right there.
This could be some Villa Grove kids tossed in there.
Well,
as
looks
Be the
well.
county. Bill McCord says the adult lady on the bench looks like Mrs. Eads from Arthur. She and
That
her
looks
husband
like-
had all the school buses in the 50s and 60s, and she drove one of the buses.
That looks like Holmes right there.
Yeah, but this is,
Too late.
yeah,
What was Rodney? 70, 69, class 69?
69 maybe.
Yeah. With Jim Price,
Hmm.
Tom Harris, and those guys.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Probably Law Day. Looks like the
Yeah, I
60s.
said it.
So 69.
Yeah, this has got,
Yeah, we can.
now, oh man, that looks like Jody Van Gundy in the back.
It does.
See back there?
Yeah, but she married, she's younger. I mean, that's too old for her.
Yeah, you're right.
Lynn, would that be Lynn?
No,
I think it's the Villa Grove girl in the back.
can't tell.
Is that Helen Fortney on
That's
the right?
Helen Fortney on the right.
And Peggy
And
Beadle.
Peggy Beadle, Peggy Crossman
They
Beadle.
were clerks, circuit clerk's office back then. And Helen wound up being the circuit clerk. Her son Don, my class. Jim was about class of what, 60, 61?
Somewhere in there.
And then they had
61.
Renee. Renee was probably class of, their daughter was 69.
Wonder whatever happened to her.
Renee went south somewhere to Georgia. And I think the Fortneys moved down near Renee later in life, I think. Who knows?
Oh, this is a dandy picture.
Mike Waters, Dave Brown,
Mike Brown and Rocky Reimer.
Rocky Reimer with the Honorable Judge
Judge
James
Sherry.
Sherrick from Villa Grove.
Look at, boy, I'm telling you, look at Ox. He's all dressed up.
Goddamn Dave Brown.
Dave Bell.
That's what Kenny's son.
Kenny
Kenny Snyder would get a haircut on
Oh,
Saturday, and
Huber.
Dave was a basketball player, and he'd blow a layup or something, and we'd lose the game. And next day, Kenny's cutting your hair. He's cutting away, going, "That goddamn Dave Brown," and he'd give you a Marine burr.
Mike Waters and Rocky Reimer, we would drive back and forth to what is now Truman University
I
of
think Dave-
Kirksville, Missouri.
Are you frozen, Dave?
No, I'm not frozen. I was reading the names, reading the comments.
Yeah, Mike.
Oh, I'm sure there's some comments.
Dave Brown. These guys were what, 69? This is all
This is 69.
Tom Harris's
Yeah,
class, Jimmy
yeah.
Kleiss.
Mark Sype,
I coached these guys in Babe Ruth baseball.
Rocky Reimer is a heck of a baseball.
Rocky Reimer's a heck of a baseball player. Dave Brown's,
Mike Waters ended up Oakwood as a basketball coach. He had a girl named Peggy Witzman who played for him as a tough ball player.
he was AD over at Catland.
And his AD and
I was talking to Phil.
official.
I was talking just last week to Phil Waters, his brother, who's talking about his mom's down at the Memory Center in Arcola. And we talked about his family. They all got together. And he said all of Mike's kids are over in Indiana. And that's kind of where he spends Thanksgiving.
He was a great basketball official too.
Good basketball official. And the worst, I always felt sorry for Mike, and I don't know if I should, but it'd be horrible to follow in the footsteps of Corky, probably one of the greatest athletes of all time. So people always want you to, nobody could ever live up to Corky. It's kind of like Donnie Payton's boy, who we all thought Donnie Payton's one of the best football players of all time, Villa Grove, 56. When they moved to Tuscola, and he had a son, oh boy, this guy's going to be All-American, and he didn't like football. So, well, your boys had to grow up in your shadow. How hard was that for them?
Oh, it's almost impossible.
Well, you feel, in a small town, you just feel sorry. But Bill's boys just lived in his shadow and still do.
A lot of comments on this picture.
I bet they were good guys.
Oh, there we go. There's Gene Cornell again. There's Phil. Now, speaking of Waters, there's
Phil
Phil.
Waters, there
There's
he is.
Phil. Neil Oakley, Doug Dietrich,
Look
and
at Doug
Wild Bill
Burris.
Look at Doug with a
Yeah,
mustache in high
Doug
school.
in high school.
Well, that's illegal.
Was he in the mafia back then?
That's
or-
illegal. Bucko would have ripped that right off his skin. Is that Rick Marsh there?
I think that is Rick Marsh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Rick Marsh. God, look at Phil's hair. Man, it's
Phil had
got all that good hair.
Phil was a good basketball player.
Oh yeah. That was a tough
Am I
game.
right on, is that Neil Oakley? Am I right on that?
Well, let's see. Rudy Huber says Gene Cornell representing the Ambucks. Phil for free throws. Budden most improved. Beezer MVP.
Budden.
Extra credit for the mustache.
That's a Budden.
That's what he says.
The tall guy's Budden. So Herb had a younger brother.
Yeah, their
Herb,
dad was a big guy.
well, their dad ran Panhandle Pipeline
He's a manager.
compressor station out there, and Herb was class of '64. And I guess this is his younger brother,
Says Mark Budden.
Mark Budden. Herb didn't play basketball, but he was tall. He was 6'4", 6'5".
He was a big guy.
Yeah.
A lot of comments on that one too.
Yeah,
So, was that Rick Marsh or not?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Ricky.
Slick Rick?
Slick Rick.
That's Cindy Ring.
Cindy Ring. Same. And there's the Sylvia Wellborn, the third one.
Kathy Moody. Boy, she
Oh,
was not there.
Oh, shut her down. Shut her down. I'm Mel.
Kathy Hettinger.
Kathy Hettinger and Paige. Is that Cheryl Page?
No, that's not Cheryl. I don't think. I'm sure they got this.
Cindy Morrow, James Swihart, Sylvia Wellborn, Maiz. Is that how you pronounce that? Kathy Moody Chaplin, Kathy Hettinger Page, and Pam Kleiss.
Pam Kleiss.
Pam Kleiss. So that would be, yeah. And you said that's Jane Swihart.
That's what
Yeah. Okay.
they say. I didn't have any names on these two, so I don't know who they are.
They were the cooks at the Hugo Cafe.
They were. And that is the Hugo Cafe.
They're taking an order right now.
They're going to Uber. They're going to Uber it.
Mhm.
And there's Dave Dietrich,
Dave
second
Dietrich,
left.
yeah.
This is more about class of '76 right here.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're all, is that, let's see, it's Dave second from the left. Is the fifth one, is that a Kohlbecker?
Yep.
Paul Kohlbecker.
Paul Kohlbecker. We should know these guys. Is that Hines?
Well, Paul says it's Dave Hauser, Dave Dietrich, Steve Connor, and of course he's second from the right. He says he's not sure about the other two.
Dave Hauser. Yeah.
Dave Hauser. And that is Steve Connor.
Dave was a good kid, good ball player. The woman certainly looks familiar.
She does.
Oh, geez, this is where I'm gonna beat myself.
Give us the initials.
Yeah.
Give us the initials on the gal, the older.
Well, I got a lot of comments on this one.
Just the initials. You have to give us the name.
Well, I'm not sure. Christine Dietrich tag Joyce Lewis, Carol Hausman says Sears Merchant Models.
Thanks for giving us just the initials.
Yeah. I was just reading the comments.
I'm
Hey.
just giving you a hard time. That is Joyce.
Hey, you want this job, Mike?
David, I could not dress up and shave as slick as you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Joyce Kibler, her mother, Joyce Lewis. It looks like Christine,
It
doesn't it?
looks like Christine.
Yeah. What is that, genetics?
What's that?
Who else is in the picture?
Tracy. Let me see.
Cronin.
Well, that would be my guess.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Joyce.
I mean, it looks just like.
She was from they're from Marcola, Joyce and Carol Kibler. They escaped to Tuscola and did well. Just like Engelhardt escaped.
Yeah.
He was teaching down there, and they let their guard. The guard wasn't in the tower that night, and he snuck out.
Knockout.
Christine Dietrich. Yeah, a lot of comments, but not
Is Christine the one that identified her mother?
Yeah, I'm not sure. A lot of comments, but it's hard to tell who's who from the comments. You know,
Gene
this,
Wickle.
Yeah,
Well, when I was state attorney in 76,
his real name was Raymond.
Sheriff Miller was the sheriff when I was started in 76 as state attorney. And then Gene came in next, probably about 78. Gene was one of the nicest,
I was going to say, he's just a nice guy.
just a nice guy.
yeah,
Some say,
went to my
such-
church growing up and
very religious, very religious.
very nice family, very,
Yeah.
Yeah, everything nice.
His wife cooked over there at the jail. Back in the old jail.
that's
in the
back
old
when the
days.
sheriff lived at the jail.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it wasn't, you didn't want to live there.
The old Gene
That's,
Wick.
that's probably 78, 79, 80.
You know, it's interesting. He's got Raymond G on his
Mhm.
nameplate, but I never knew him as anything other than Gene.
Yeah, he was pretty, I don't even think he carried a gun. He was so good natured. You got time for one quick Gene Wickle story?
Sure.
Gene really was very compassionate, and he let the prisoners during the day. He'd let them go out to a garden on the west side of the jail. The Catholic Church had it now, and one day, a guy from Marcola, had to be from Marcola, right? While they were out there unsupervised in the garden, he shimmied up the radio tower thing to the second floor where the evidence room was, broke back into the second floor of the jail, stole a big bag of amphetamines, Crown Royal bag of amphetamines, shimmied down and buried it out in the corner of the garden, went back inside and wanted to make a free call. And he called and did a major drug sale while he was. I remember Charlie McGrew worked for the IDI. He came down wanting to charge everybody in Douglas County. He said, that's horrible. I said, well, we're a small town. We trust people. Well, that looks like Charlotte Wellborn, second from the right, and Susan Burris on the right.
Right.
Susan Burris, Charlotte Wellborn,
That's Betty Weber on the far left.
Betty Weber from the Hillard Agency. These are all Hillard Agency people.
Yeah.
They all worked Hillard Agency. Betty worked there for years.
Susan still works there.
Susan still works there. Betty was married to, was it Elmer?
Junior.
Junior Weber. He was the one in the Battle of the Bulge, wasn't he? Her husband was Battle of Bastogne,
Bastogne.
World War II, famous battle.
Worked at the post office.
Yeah. We should know this girl down here.
Well, we should. She looks familiar. Who is it?
You got all the names that I had.
Okay.
Shoot.
Hillard Agency. Back when George Hillard ran it.
Man, look at the hair.
Whoa.
Hippies.
That looks like Cliff Ponder, second from the left, but I don't know. Probably not.
Nope. It's Doug Corley.
Doug Corley. What year is it? Is that Gary Campbell? No, that's not Gary Campbell.
I don't know because I don't know what it was.
Well, I know the guy on the far right.
And that is,
Looks like Gary Campbell, but
It's my brother-in-law, Peter Quinn.
that looks like Peter.
So he was class of 77.
The most familiar one's the second in from the right, we should know. That's the familiar.
Christy Townsend says it's Chris Townsend Center.
Chris Townsend in the center.
And Christy says these were Miss Tuscola escorts, 1975.
Well, we know this guy right here.
I don't know.
Dan
Okay.
Kane, second from right.
Who?
Dan Kane.
There it is, Dan Kane. We knew that.
I knew you'd get it.
I knew it. Yes, Dan Kane. I'll give you his initials.
No, was he
DC.
Bill Kane's son?
I think so. Chris was a really good guard for Bill Burris. Wound up at Monticello. Applied
golf coach at Monticello.
golf coach, applied for the principal's job down here, didn't he?
He applied for a job.
You took it, I think.
No, I didn't. No, it wasn't me.
Was he for the superintendent he applied for? Was the superintendent principal?
No, it might have been the high school principal.
He married Kay and Ed Kleiss' daughter, Christy, and she was Miss Tuscola.
Glad they're here.
She was Miss
They moved here
Tuscola.
after you retired.
They moved back and bought the Hooker house. Powell and Hooker used to own Chevrolet, and that Hooker's had Steve, my class, and Candy Hooker, their daughter, was about class of 62 or 61 or 2. They bought the Hooker house.
Hmm.
And they're back home. That's good when people come back home.
Yep. So this would have been my brother Pete's class.
I always think it's great how well they used to dress up, look nice.
Now that looks like that a Gensler.
Oh, that's a Gensler.
Gensler, which one?
Debbie,
Debbie? I think it is Debbie Gensler, and that's the mayor's wife,
Amy
Amy
Smith.
Amy Smith. Second from the left, Amy Smith Kleiss, Debbie Gensler, and that could be her youngest sister. That could be her youngest sister too.
Mary.
They look like Genslers. Oh,
Yeah, could be. It didn't look good for Amy to give him the finger.
no. What's Amy doing shooting? Well, that was
Debbie
rough.
Jacobs says, thinking this might be the style show for Miss Tuscola. Amy and I were best friends. I'm pretty sure I recruited my sister to the style show as well.
I said they were all Genslers,
I'm not
except for
very happy about it.
So yeah. So who was the youngest Gensler? What was her?
It says Sherry.
Sherry was the youngest.
But it says Sherry had noticed Sherry had her fists clenched. So that's
Oh, yeah.
Sherry Terry.
Rhonda
Rhonda.
is the
There's
oldest.
4 girls.
Debbie works at the bank that used to be TNB.
Yeah.
Has to wait on me some.
so it's Terry, Debbie, and Sherry with Amy.
Amy. Warren Smith's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Has a brother over in Indianapolis. What's his name?
Good ball player. Basketball player. Can't remember.
Yeah, nice guy. So she twisted her sister's arms to go to the style show. I just saw their mom yesterday. I talked to Eunice. Her dad passed away a few years ago. Eunice is still driving, doing well.
Lives out in Parkview.
Lives in Parkview. Oh, that's Paul Flesser's wife,
Betty.
and her brother was Lowell Leonard, I believe.
Yeah, I
Lived
believe
down
you're
north
right. Yeah.
of town on the road, and
My God, Devin does look like her mother or some, doesn't she?
yeah.
Look at those chocolate rabbits.
Oh my
buddy.
gosh.
I'm telling
Oh
you.
my gosh.
Now that's the height of good living if you ever had one of those.
I dreamed Gus used to make these. Well, he made the Easter Bunny and the Santa Clauses, and he made one special one that was about 15 inches tall, weighed about 5 pounds. And when I became state's attorney, I had enough money to buy that 5-pounder. And there's a picture of me. I lived on Van Allen Street. They took a picture of me. I'm leaning back in a recliner, and I'm asleep. I've got that bunny. The ears are gone. The ears are gone. And it's just on my chest right there. I'm just holding it. That's melting into my sweater. Did you ever see that really good cartoon with Easter bunnies where these 2 chocolate bunnies are talking to each other? And one of them has a big bite out of its butt, and the other one has its ears are missing. And the one with a bite out of his butt says, "My butt hurts." And everyone says, "What'd you say?" There's Paul. They kept their tradition going. Best chocolate in the world.
These are the fancy baskets, Easter baskets.
Bill might have been with me my senior in high school. Speaking of Greg, Greg just passed away. But one of my favorite Greg Skinner stories is, of course, his dad and mom worked there, and his granddad owned it and worked there. But my senior year, we're in there eating, and I love their almond bark.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a sheet of chocolate with nuts in it.
You
And
bet you what?
I said, Greg, he was behind the counter. And I said, Greg, any chance? I'm out of money. Can I just have a little piece of almond bark? He reached in and grabbed a slab of it with both hands. Probably about 2 pounds, just handed it to me, and we ran out the door. So I probably owe the Flesser family $20 or so.
Devin will be collecting.
Devin will collect. There we have Myron Ron.
Oh, my goodness.
That's when I was state's attorney. These were the guys that arrested Myron Ron, Tommy Harris, Andy Cassavant, Wayne Huber, and Tony Snyder. And the gal, I think, is the mayor. I think that's the one they had for a long time. She's the mayor of Pasodum. What was her name?
Raggle.
Right, Joyce Raggle, I think.
Yeah.
This is about 1976, 77. These guys would go arrest the wrong person, no investigation, and dump it on my desk, and I had to straighten it out. No, I'm just kidding. They were all good guys. Tony went to the IBI where Charlie McGrew got him in the IBI. He was a good investigator. Andy became a CPA. Cassavant taught at the Police Training Institute. Wayne went over and became police chief in Newman. Tommy, I named Tommy my investigator. I ran for sheriff and wound up working for the highway department, IDOT. Good guys, good times.
And who did you say the woman is?
I think it was Joyce Raggle.
Ragle.
I'm not sure. She was there a long time. I'm not sure when she started.
Joyce was there for, but it didn't look like Joyce to me. And they've got
it doesn't look like her, but that's who was there back in.
Danita Luss says all Janice Davis just got a Christmas card
you know what?
today.
You're right. It didn't look like Janice Davis's husband was Gary Davis, Illinois State Trooper, and she did work there. I wonder when Joyce came in.
I don't know, but she was there a long time.
She was there in the 80s.
Well, she was there in the. I was state attorney when she was there.
Her daughter was Danielle Mink. I had her in school.
Yeah, dated. That was one of Eric's. Dated her, I think. Hastings.
So did my brother Matt.
Did they? Okay, we're getting into some good trivia.
Close.
There is Uncle So and So. What's his name?
Well, I saw him the other day, but I can't remember.
Give us his initials, not the full name.
JWC.
Cannon.
Well, that's not Joseph Cannon, I don't think, is it? Well,
no.
Give us the full name now.
Well, the name on the envelope says J.W. Collins.
Well,
and it's dated 1936.
Collins. Well, Guy Collins was from Atwood.
J.W.
I wonder if that's Guy Collins' dad.
This says J.W. Collins, Tuscola, Illinois.
Well, I think he is.
84 and a half years old.
Yeah, he was from Tuscola. Our superintendent back in the 40s was Guy Collins, who was an Atwood product. Back with Wooleman.
Guy looks pretty good for 84.
He does look good for 84.
I thought it was a cool picture. This is in with some of the Pettit photos that we have.
Yeah, Pettit was a professional photographer, really did high quality work. And there's Bill's car. I can see his Mercury Cougar going down the street there.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's no doubt about
this
it.
is Sale Street.
The depot's still there.
The depot's still there. Look at the corner.
The corner still has a building from the community building. There's still a building there.
What was in that building?
Boy.
One time I thought there was a restaurant.
I don't know.
So this is the old bank building.
Yeah.
It's the vault now.
Still is.
This is Flesser's Candy Kitchen here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the 5 and Dime. So this is Main Street and Sale Street.
It was busy that day.
I think if you go back over here across from the vault, I think that's the Star Store, and that was still 2 stories back then.
Yep. And this would be the Hotel Douglas right here.
Yeah, it is.
Wonder if Phil White took that from, he was laying out on the wing to take that picture.
They strapped him to the aileron. And they never could get the thing landed because he was too heavy on the aileron.
One of the depots, there were what, 3 depots in town?
You'll notice also there's three depots. You'll notice the traffic is two-way on Main Street.
Yeah, 2-way on Sale Street here.
Sale Street. And if you go back down the end of the block, caddy corner over there, right, over to the right, is where Burmeister was called out. And the call was made from over here to the left on the corner, which was the pool hall, which when I was young, it was Riley's pool hall back in the 50s. There's the Cohen building. I wish they could have saved the Cohen building or the Mitchells. What was that called? It's 3 stories tall.
Oh, Rosie had it.
Yeah.
And it was 3 stories tall, Romanesque architecture. That'd been nice if they could have saved that.
This building up here toward the top is Ackus Construction. It used to be Corner Grocery.
And at the time, in the 60s, Floyd Grubb sold Buicks there. It looks like there's a lot of nice cars there.
Then back here on the other side is F.H. Jones Lumber Company.
Right. And right there, across the street, go down from Lumber Company to go back up top, slide down to the right, that building right, a little bit more, right up there, across the street, left.
Oh, that's where that Payne moved.
That's where the Mr. Warren Payne was paralyzed and slept in a bed in that window there. When I was a young Baptist church boy, we went down there and used to sing carols to him. Right there.
Here?
Yeah, that's the one to the right. Your left, right there. And there was an awning right
across from what Brett Atkinson's is now.
Okay, right here.
Building, yeah. That was a big building.
Yeah.
And there was a front window.
So right there's the whole Burmeister murder right there. The call from that corner over to that corner over there.
And of course, you know what this building is here.
That's the Tuscola Review.
Well, the Strand's there somewhere.
This is the Strand Theater.
Yeah.
Strand Theater. Burned down Christmas Eve, was it?
Christmas Eve, 67, I believe.
And this over here with this L shape on this addition, that's the old Journal building.
Yeah. I remember that burned down. Becky and I were across the street to the south watching it. That was Mark Maxey was up on the ladder trying to put it out, and there was a change of wind, and all of a sudden Mark disappeared into a ball of flames. And I realized then how dangerous that job is.
I had an apartment in that building in the 80s.
David, you had an apartment everywhere.
I got around.
You did get around, buddy. There's Paul Flock when they built that brand new building there on the highway.
Well, this would be next to the coffee place at Dietrich.
Well, they were best of friends. Paul and Denny and their wives were best of friends. And Paul built that. And we're looking east, I think, northeast. And just back to the west, Denny built that one-story coffee shop.
Yeah.
And now it has a beauty shop.
You know, I had good donuts in there.
They did have, and it's rental now. And
These were staged with Paul looking a little frustrated.
Yeah, that Paul's trying to figure out what to do with this one remaining concrete block. Can he sell it? That was back. Lee Allison was there in the 50s with down the street where Jimmy Kleiss had his stock thing, and then Paul built that in the 70s. But having a local TV deal was a big deal. Oh, you bought your TVs locally.
Oh yeah,
because they could be serviced. They could run out and give you a new vacuum tube. I think Phil Stolzwerth's dad, who just died, was
he was the main technician.
Main technician for Allison and then for Flock.
Yeah.
Well, this is obviously something to do with the, these are the Moose Hunters Association.
I think it's the elks.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's what you
It's like
said.
Artie Moose in the
Moose
back.
sounds just like elks.
It's the same thing. They're related.
Isn't that Artie Moss in the
That's
back?
Artie Moss. Tall in the back is Artie. It's hard to.
It's a little blurry.
I think they brought in all the big potentates. Is that Gene Cornell?
No, I
Okay.
don't believe so.
I think
Yeah,
is that
a little
Mr.
out of
Reader?
focus.
Looks like Mr. Reader.
It looks a little bit like that, but it's a little off. But that is Artie Moss in the back.
Yeah. BPO Elks. What's the BPO stand for, David?
Brotherhood Order of Elks. I don't know what the other letter is.
That's down at
Mike
Charleston.
running for office.
That was my campaign statue. That's down in Charleston. Probably one of the worst statues of Abraham Lincoln.
What is the tallest?
It's the tallest carved out of a chestnut tree. One solid tree.
Yep.
I just came across the negative, threw it in. I knew it wasn't Tuscola, but it has generated a lot of comments.
That's considered the tallest wooden statue of Abraham Lincoln within East Central Illinois.
Apparently, it is still standing.
You'd think it'd be burned down. It was wooden. Lightning would hit it, you'd
I would
think.
like to go and have to paint that thing.
Well, honest Dave.
It's
I
been
was saying-
moved, but it's still. It looks like it's
Is it-
still down in
is it-
Charleston, west of the Coles County Dragway. West
Yeah,
of
it's in Coles County.
yeah, west
They
of
they never were able to market that. They never were able to develop that theme park.
72 feet tall and weighs 9 tons,
Yeah.
according to David Kent Coy.
Well, he would know. Why would he know?
I don't know, but that's Mac's summer lot and his wife, and that's Debbie's summer lot.
Getting a check from, looks like Atwell. Is that Tommy Atwell?
Boy, it does look like him, doesn't it?
That's what Brian Atwell says. He said it looks like Tom Atwell.
Yeah,
And Debbie's a Faye, married to Faye from Atwood.
Debbie was a longtime teacher at Arcola, and then ended up going back to Atwood.
Max was a USI guy. I think he was I think they're one of the families that moved in with the plant. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Moved in,
I think.
lived in Timmons Drive on a nice white house there on the east side of Timmons Drive.
Debbie was a wonderful PE teacher, really good PE teacher.
Tommy was a good athlete, good left-handed baseball pitcher. Good buddy with Burris, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Burris. Oh boy. Well, this has got to be, I'm going to guess this is
The 40s. This is definitely 1940s.
yeah, I started to say it looked like the Douglas County Bar Association.
Well, the envelope says April 13th, 1940. It says DeKalb Grange. Did DeKalb have a Grange club? At one time?
No,
Well, based on this picture, it looks like maybe they did.
maybe
Was that the farmers that are shareholders or something, or?
I mean, Granges are, there's one down near Lebanon. There's not a lot of them, but they're basically fraternal organizations like Moose or Elks, but they're typically farmers.
Well, we should know some of them.
Well, they're from 1940, so a little before
that-
that time.
Well, I was a junior in high school, but I don't recognize them.
That's a long time ago.
That's a great picture too.
Yes, it is.
That's
That's what it's
Billy Gard on the left.
Yeah, Mike Carroll on the right. And someone all decked out on the left.
I'm telling you, David, it's a shock. Are you going to be like this every week?
I'm thinking about it.
I think we're gonna have to get a dress code.
Well,
I
you
got
know what?
my Save the Children tie on.
I'm impressed.
I am too. You look nice. You really do.
Did you get a promotion or anything?
No,
Did your boss want you to start stepping it up a little bit?
we're still recording, but yeah. Yeah, you can turn it off. Well, that's it for pictures.
David, once again, this is fun for us. And I know it's probably frustrating for other people to see Bill and I identify everybody.
I think almost 99.
We were up about 90-some% today. I'm not good at math, but I think it was high 90s.
It was up there.
You're a teacher. Were we in the high 90s?
Oh, we were in the 90s, no doubt.
I think
about
you
that.
were in the top 95 percentile in terms of
We were.
being able to guess the.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, David, that's fun. I always get a kick out of this. I hope you don't run out of pictures. And I hope we can live long enough to see a few more of these.
And I hope the meal's good in Springfield tonight.
Poe's famous fried chicken.
Mm.
You taking your lovely wife?
I am
Oh, man.
against her will.
You gonna drive all the way home?
Well,
You're
we
gonna stay in
gotta
your
get home
house?
somehow.
Well, you got a house over there.
Yeah, it's rented.
Well, it's her vacation too.
They can give you a spare bedroom for a night.
Yeah.
It's her vacation.
Well, enjoy your vacation. When's your vacation over, David?
Well, end of the week.
Indianapolis tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's tell
Man.
everybody I'll be out of town, Mike, and house will be empty.
Well, you should go get her.
Well, I never even thought about that, David. The only reason I break in is to steal all your cigars.
That's all there is to steal.
Well, there's some writing awards on the wall I wouldn't mind having.
Which ones do you want?
I don't know. I got to figure out how to change the name. David, thank you for all this hard work you do for the good of Tuscola.
Well, thanks for joining us. All right. We'll see you next week on Remembering Tuscola webcast.